Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to my WWE 205 live review for March 14th, 2017. And I'm sorry I'm getting this video up late. I was just really busy this week with other things. I was up in New Hampshire for a few days. I was celebrating my birthday, and I ended up coming back, having to read my book I had to read for school. And then I had a couple of some math homework I had to do, so I just been extremely busy, but I'm finally getting a chance to do it now. So let's just talk about it. So we had Corey Graves and Tom Phillips on commentary. Tom Phillips was taking Ronaldo's place on commentary because this episode was filmed on the same day as SmackDown Live, and he wasn't on SmackDown, and since 205 Live comes on the same day as SmackDown, then since 205 Live comes on the same day as SmackDown, he wouldn't be here either. I did hear they originally said that it was due to travel issues that he wasn't there, but I'm hearing that there's some other story because Ronaldo has been very quiet on Twitter, so I don't know what's going on with that. I feel like, in a sense, like I don't think he would just purposely miss a wrestling show because Ronaldo, I just don't see him doing something like that. But a lot of people are giving him shit for it. JBL's giving him shit for it. Josh Matthews, Taz. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I will talk about that in a future video. It is kind of weird how that ended up happening. Because I originally hadn't heard about that there was another reason. When I watched SmackDown and talked about it on What's Better while it was SmackDown on my CM Brothers channel, which you can subscribe to, I didn't know the other story, so who knows what's going on right now. So let's continue. It starts out with a video package building up the Fatal 5-Way match coming up. I actually did like this. It was kind of a way to make each guy look like a threat. Austin Aries cuts a promo saying that he's not here to be flashy. He's not here for all fun and games. He said that he's wrestled all over the world, and he's going to take the Cruiserweight Championship from Neville at WrestleMania. T.J. Perkins talks about how he survived 31 competitors to become the first ever Cruiserweight Champion. And he says that he wants to get back the title, so he wants to win this match tonight and go on to face Neville at WrestleMania. Akira Tozawa says that he has wrestled all over the world, and he wants to take the Cruiserweight Championship at WrestleMania. And the Brian Kendricks cuts a promo talking about how he says he's a man with a plan. And he says that he is going to show why he is just that when he wins the Fatal 5-Way tonight and wins the Cruiserweight title at WrestleMania. Tony Nese talks about how he's the premier athlete, he can do it all. And it says that the question is what order and how long is it going to take for him to eliminate his opponents. I did like this video package. It was a nice way to build up to the Fatal 5-Way match. And then Neville comes out to cut a promo, and he talks about how it was 1 year and a day ago where he ended up breaking his ankle, and he ended up having to miss WrestleMania, and he missed out on his WrestleMania moment. And he talked about how what the worst part of it all was I looked up at each and every one of you fans, and you guys didn't seem to care, and you actually ended up forgetting about me. But he says now that he's back and he's obliterated an entire division, and he says that all that's going to happen tonight is more of the same of what happens. He's just going to destroy his opponent at WrestleMania, and he said that he's just going to take away their ambition to want to become Cruiserweight Champion. I actually liked Neville's promo here. I thought it was really good. And then he gets interrupted by Mustafa Ali, which I thought was kind of out of nowhere and random, but whatever. And we get the first match on the show. It's Mustafa Ali versus Drew Gulak. I actually thought this was a good, solid opening matchup. Mustafa Ali hits a Hurricanrana from the top rope. And then he hits like a 450, like a moonsault on the outside. And then eventually Drew Gulak throws him into the corner. And he beats the crap out of him. He gets him into the goalie special. And he ends up transitioning it into a roll-up, which I thought looked really cool. And then Mustafa Ali makes his comeback. He hits the neck breaker coming into the ring. The rolling neck breaker. and then he hits a Hurricanrana again, and then he hits a inverted 450 and gets the victory. I thought it was a good, solid opening matchup. Then afterwards, Drew Gulak gets on the mic, and he says that he comes out here and he performs night in and night out. And he says that the fans don't give a crap about him. And he says that he's not doing anything wrong. He says that 205 Live's doing something wrong and it needs a change. So I kind of hope this leads to him getting a push because he deserves it. He's actually, I think, a really good wrestler. So I hope that's where this leads to. And then we had Arya Daivari backstage. And Noam Dar comes up and says that they could be a great tag team. All they had was a little bit of a hiccup last week. And he talks about how he wants to prove to his girlfriend, the beautiful Alicia Fox, that he can that she's being represented by a winner. And Arya Daivari says that he can save the speech because he doesn't need motivation to want to get revenge on Jack Gallagher after embarrassing him in their feud, which I like that they brought that up. And yeah, this makes him happy. They punch Knuckles, and Noam Dar was just like, oh, he's really strong. I actually thought this backstage segment was pretty lame. Then we had the next match. It was a tag team match. Jack Gallagher and Rich Swann versus Arya Daivari and Noam Dar with Alicia Fox ringside. This match was just really a basic tag team match. One thing I did like was when Rich Swann and Jack Gallagher came out, they both ended up dancing together, which I thought was fun. And the heels get the heat on Jack Gallagher for a while. And then eventually Rich Swann gets the hot tag. He starts going off on Arya Daivari, and then he ends up hitting a big boot on him. Noam Dar tags himself in, and eventually hits the running knee for the win. And afterwards, he tells Alicia Fox that he loves her, and he says that he doesn't want flowers and chocolates to just show his love tonight. The present was his victory. And then we see a guy come out with a teddy bear as a gift. And he's like, and this teddy bear, because you're more cuddly than all the teddy bears in the world. I've always hated the storyline between Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. It's terrible, and it needs to end. I don't know. Like I said, I have a feeling that it's gonna be Rich Swann playing mind games with Noam Dar, and it's gonna actually be him that's the one setting all these gifts, and that's just a lame storyline. And then we had the main event. It was a fatal 5-way elimination match where the winner becomes the #1 contender to the Cruiserweight Championship at WrestleMania. Austin Aries versus Akira Tozawa versus Tony Nese versus T.J. Perkins versus the Brian Kendrick. I actually thought this was a really good match. It was a little bit slow in the beginning, but it definitely picked up towards the end. And no one really does anything in the beginning. Austin Aries just kind of lays in the corner. Akira Tozawa fights with Kendrick. Tony Nese fights with T.J. Perkins. And then eventually it leads to Aries having to face off with T.J. Perkins. They chain wrestle each other. T.J. Perkins hits a drop kick and ends up dabbing. And then Austin Aries gets the upper hand. He dabs. And then he throws Perkins out of the ring. And then Tony Nese throws him out of the ring. And then the match just pretty much breaks down into chaos. Austin Aries hits a suicide dive onto Tony Nese. And then it's down to... and then Akira Tozawa attacks Kendrick. He goes to hit a suicide dive on him, but Tony Nese attacks him from behind. He throws him out of the ring, goes to hit a suicide dive on him, but Brian Kendrick pulls him out of the ring, bounces his head off the announcer's table, beats the crap out of him, and then T.J. Perkins and Austin Aries go at it for a little bit a little bit longer. He hits a suicide hits a dive on the outside, and then eventually Akira Tozawa hits a snap German suplex and goes to cover him, but Kendrick breaks up the pinfall, which I didn't really think made any sense, but it was because it's an elimination match, so it was weird. So then he throws Tozawa on the outside, but Tozawa beats the crap out of him, hits a suicide dive on the outside. Tony Nese hits a flip on the outside. And then T.J. Perkins hits a dive, and then Aries hits a dive, and then Kendrick attacks Aries. He bounces his head off the announce table. No, actually, Aries went to hit a dive, and Aries pushes him off the top rope. And then Tony Nese hits a running knee through the barricade onto Aries, which was really cool. Then he goes for one of T.J. Perkins. Perkins counters into a cross arm breaker, and he ends up tapping out. And then afterwards, Tony Nese attacks him, and then Akira Tozawa hits a pump kick, and he attacks Tony Nese because he keeps saving T.J. Perkins, and then Kendrick hits the sliced bread on Akira Tozawa and covers him and eliminates him, which I did like that Akira Tozawa got eliminated by Kendrick because that continues that storyline. And then it's down to Aries, Kendrick, and Perkins. Perkins and Kendrick fight for a little bit. Kendrick gets a captain's hook on him, goes for the sliced bread. Aries crosses him on the top rope. No, Perkins crosses him on the top rope, goes for a reverse superplex, but then Aries comes in and hits a powerbomb on both guys, setting them both crashing. Aries and Perkins double team Kendrick, and then Aries and Perkins go off on each other. Perkins goes for a detonation kick, but then Kendrick pulls him down, and Aries and Kendrick double pin T.J. Perkins, and he gets eliminated. T.J. Perkins attacks him afterwards. Kendrick gets Aries into the captain's hook, and then T.J. Perkins breaks up the move, attacking Kendrick, and this pretty much causes Kendrick the match. And Aries goes for a rolling elbow, but he accidentally hits T.J. Perkins. Kendrick hits a sliced bread on him. Aries kicks out. Then he gets him into the captain's hook. Aries tries to use the ropes to break the hold, but there's no rope break. So then he uses the ropes to get himself to his feet. And then eventually he gets out of the move and hits the rolling elbow for the win. And Austin Aries is going to be the one going on to face Neville for the Cruiserweight title, which I'm absolutely fine with. It's the match that makes sense since Aries just returned. And, it's a match I actually want to see. So can't wait to see this match. And overall, I actually thought this episode of 205 Live was a pretty good show. I liked Neville's promo. I liked Mustafa Ali versus Drew Gulak. The stuff with Noam Dar and the tag team match I really didn't care that much for. And the main event I thought was really good. But there's really nothing worth seeing on this show. It is a good show, but nothing. If the only thing you can really check out is probably the main event and maybe Neville's promo. That was really the stuff that I actually enjoyed on the show. I did like Mustafa Ali versus Drew Gulak, but it's nothing worth checking out. But that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and my own The Talkinator channel. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.